But then I think about my mother and how that went for her, so I'm glad that I did learn by example not to do that. And quite honestly, when I left Eric that weekend, I wasn't leaving him permanently in my mind. I was getting away for the weekend to figure out what I had run out of ideas on how to fix our marriage, and he wasn't helping me at all or cooperating with any ideas that I had. So he wasn't willing to budge, to compromise with me so that I wouldn't be so miserable. And I thought I just needed to get away so I could think clearly, because all we would do when we were around each other was yell. And we weren't even saying anything. We were just yelling to yell. We weren't even listening. So that was my intent. But then he tried to bully me and threaten me with, well, if you leave, there'll be consequences. And I'm like, what? Jokingly, I said, divorce me. And he shrugged his shoulders like, I don't know. And I thought, you fucker, you're not going to do that to me. I'm not one of your weak-minded girlfriends that'd be like, oh, no, don't leave me. Fuck that. So I'm going to take the weekend and do what I needed to do. And for once, he can keep the kids, because it was always me. And not that I minded that at all, because I love my girls, but I couldn't do it and be able to think, I wasn't going out to party. I wasn't going to get a break from them at all. I hated leaving them, but I figured for the weekend, for that Saturday and part of Sunday, they'd be fine. Little did I know he'd take the advantage of that first night and bring someone home and sleep with them. And even then, it was like, I kind of expected it, but, I was willing to look past that. I just wanted this marriage to get back on track, and he just wasn't budging. So I think he actually wanted out and was just not ready to make that move. And when I wanted to get away for the weekend, he took that advantage of that to get, now was his opportunity. Because he didn't try anything to try and make it work. And I took the blame for all of it, which is fine. It doesn't matter now, but I'm just saying it wasn't my intent to leave him when I left, not permanently. And it ended up being that. But my point is, I'm glad that I didn't stay in an unhappy marriage and be treated the way that I was. I knew I deserved better than that, because I had been an excellent wife and a wonderful mother, and I planned on still being a wonderful mother. But when it came down to it, I didn't have any place to live. I was staying with friends here and there, and I didn't want my girls to have to go through that. I wanted them to have the stability of their school that they had just started, and their dad, and they'd been through enough. And I don't think that anyone ever believed me that it was in their best interest that I made that choice. It was by no means my intent to not have them again. But anyway, like I said, there's just so much that I've been through and that's happened, God, in the last 20 years of my life. There's been so much change and so much growth and so much mistakes, and just everything. But that's what life is, and I'm just nervous about the next chapter. But I hope that with everything I've learned, that these changes will all be good, and we will be stronger for having them. I'm done with trauma and life knocking me down and choices I make to get knocked down. Or I've found so much peace and serenity in this room, and I hate losing it, but I don't have to lose it. I just transfer it somewhere else. Wherever I go, I can keep that, because I have the tools. I had the tools to make it here. I can have the tools to make it there. That's how I need to look at it. But that self-doubt comes into play, and it doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't do me any good. No positive outcome of that. So I need to just quit that and focus on the positive, like I do most of the time. I got my kitty. I got my son Anthony. Tyler's home. I've met some good friends. I don't have the amount of friends I used to, but quality is better than quantity, I've learned. And my friends have always been such a huge part of my life. They were the family that I had to create because of the family that I felt I didn't have. Not in the way that I wanted them to be family, but who's to say that can't change? Anything can happen, you know? So that's all I've got for right now. I don't know if I'll journal again. I would like to think that I would, but I just wanted to be able to have it, well, I was going to say written down, but have it journaled about my feelings before I move somewhere, because I never did it before. Anytime that I made a big move like that. And I wish I would have been able to look back and read what I was feeling before, you know. I know what I was feeling before we moved to Oregon. I hated it, every second of it, but it ended up being the best thing for me. I would have never had my children. I would have never experienced the wonderful times that I have and learned the wonderful lessons that I've learned and getting clean. And not to say that I would have used if I would have stayed down there, but I imagine I probably would have. Who knows? That's all for now.